Hello and welcome to the local campaign. I'm Roger Peterson from City News. Rogers TV is presenting unrivaled coverage of the municipal election with debates in all of Toronto's 44 wards. For the next hour, you'll hear from the candidates of Ward 14, Parkdale High Park. Now, before I introduce them, let's introduce you to the ward.
Ward 14, Parkdale High Park, is an elongated sliver of land that runs south of Dundas Street West to Lake Ontario and east from Parkside Drive to Keele Street and the CN rail tracks. It includes the neighborhoods of West Bend, Sunnyside, High Park, and the former village of Parkdale, one of Toronto's oldest western communities. Ward 14 is home to 62,000 residents, where only slightly over 20% live in single-family dwellings. That's half the Toronto average. One major concern amongst area residents is the Georgetown South project, which will further extend the existing GO Transit line, providing a link between Toronto's Union Station and Pearson International Airport. There still remains an ongoing debate to whether electric or hybrid trains should be used for the plan. The GTS project is expected to be completed sometime in 2015. Another concern within this ward is the ongoing battle with crime and substance abuse, particularly in Parkdale.
And that's the ward, and now's your chance to meet the candidates. Each one will get 1 minute for an opening statement. We'll start in alphabetical order and move our way down the line. First up, Charmaine Emerson. Charmaine?
Hi, I'm Charmaine Emerson, and I'm running to become your Ward 14 councillor. And here's why. I'm local. I'm from the neighborhood. I've lived here for 25 years, and I've raised our 3 boys in this neighborhood. And I'm nonpartisan. I don't know about you, but the shenanigans at City Hall have got me fed up. And I'm practical, and I get results done. For example, a few years ago, the Toronto Star wrote an article about me as a mom who gets things done. My son's bike was stolen off of our porch. What did I do? Because I know the ward from the lake right up to the top, I knew exactly where to head to look for that bike. So I took action. I found the bike, and I got results. That's me. Action, getting things done.
All right, Charmaine, thank you very much. And we'll move on now to Tim Kirby. Tim?
Thank you. So who am I, and why did I decide to run? I've grown up in the city of Toronto, and over the last 10 years, I've seen some tremendous growth. And with this tremendous growth comes some growing pains. So whether it's in transportation, that includes the TTC, the gridlock, or just cars versus bikes, taxes, the federal government, the provincial government are deep in our pockets. Toronto has to find ways to raise money without raising taxes. And jobs. Toronto is a thriving city, yet the unemployment rate in the city of Toronto is 3% higher than the national average and 1% higher than the Ontario average. We need to find Torontonians jobs. I can help. I bring a new perspective, an energy, forward thinking. I'm nonpartisan, and I bring a passion and a love for the city of Toronto and Ward 14. My name is Tim Kirby, and I'm running to represent Toronto in Ward 14.
Okay, Tim, thank you very much. Next up, Gus Koutoumanos. Gus?
Thank you. I'm Gus Koutoumanos, and I want to be your city councillor in Ward 14. I've been in the Junction for just under 20 years, and together with the help of the community, we've really turned the neighborhood around and created a fantastic atmosphere for both residents and businesses. And I'd like to take my skills to the rest of the city and apply them and help Toronto move forward. Thank you very much.
All right, Gus, thank you. Next up, Andreas Maroukos.
Good morning. I'm Andreas Maroukos. I'm running for City Council in Ward 14, primarily because I believe Toronto's biggest problem is lack of choice. We lack choices in public transportation, we lack choices in education, we lack choices in delivery of utilities and services. What I really would aspire to do over the next 4 years is invite commercial and neighborhood interests into City Hall so we can figure out cost-effective, simple to implement, and functional free market solutions to everyday problems. A vote for Andreas is a vote for choice.
Andreas, thank you very much. And Gord Parks. Gord.
Thanks, Roger. I get a kick out of talking about Ward 14. It's probably the most diverse neighborhood anywhere in Toronto. We have people from every walk of life and every corner of the planet. And because of all that diversity, we do a lot of neat stuff. We become leaders in planning ahead for what kind of neighborhood we want, leaders in planning for how to get access to the waterfront. We built Roncesvalles as one of the most attractive streets anywhere in Canada. We've taken on some issues around making Queen Street serve everyone's needs. And we've started to imagine how to revitalize all of our public spaces. I'm particularly proud of Jameson and the 12 parks that we've managed to revitalize. If you want an exciting time, go to a Parkdale public meeting or anywhere else in the ward. We love to talk, we love to get things done.
All right, Gord, thank you very much. And one other candidate was invited, and that's Jimmy Telpin. He declined to show up today. So we're going to move on to our questions now, and you'll get 30 seconds to respond to those questions. Actually, I think we're giving you 60 seconds today. You're lucky. You guys are spoiled today. If you need 60 seconds, I'm sure there's some of you may need more, but I'll cut you off at that point. And our first question, and Tim, we're going to start with you. Since 2008, more than 30 new restaurants have opened on Queen Street West between Roncesvalles and Dufferin. Roncesvalles? Which one are we going with? Roncesvalles and Dufferin. 2012, the current councillor pushed through a moratorium on new restaurants called the Interim Control Bylaw. How do you plan to balance the needs of both residents and business owners to ensure safe neighborhoods and a thriving local economy? Tim?
I disagree with what had passed there. I think that you can't stifle sort of growth, and whoever comes in first is going to spend the money in the infrastructure. We should allow whoever that business is. At the end of the day, I don't think a flower shop's going to open up in a spot if there's nobody there. And I think restaurants and things like that attract people, create jobs, and then off that create people in the streets, which creates safety. So I think we have to sort of drop that concept that you can't let any business open up. Let all those businesses, what they ever are, who's ever bringing the money, let them come in. I don't think we shouldn't mandate who can come in and who can't. Okay,
Tim, thank you very much. Gus?
The moratorium issue has been something that I've been talking a lot about. What happened in Parkdale by not allowing more than a certain percentage of entertainment-like establishments from opening up is the exact opposite of what we accomplished in the Junction. A lot of people know, but the Junction was a dry community for 107 years. So we fought. We, the businesses, along with the residents, it's ultimately the residents that gave us that opportunity by voting in, by changing the dry status to wet. But we fought for the restaurants and the like to move into our neighborhood, and we welcome that. I don't think it's fair to anybody to put a limit on who can open up and who can't open up. I mean, what happens to the restaurants that are already there? Is their business worth double because no one else can open up around them? And as far as the policing goes, I mean, we have police officers, liquor license inspectors, and bylaw officers that can control. And ultimately, as a councillor, if there was an issue in any establishment, I'd be the first one to go out and talk to both sides, to the businesses and to the residents, and try to come up with a solution. I don't think that that a moratorium was a solution.
Okay, Gus, thank you very much. Andreas?
Well, part of the problem is actually the zoning regulations themselves, because the city does have limited powers in terms of what type of entertainment establishments can operate. They have control over zoning, not usage. But in brief, a business, an entrepreneur has canvassed the market, they've researched audiences, and they will open a business that can operate as a viable social entertainment or restaurant fashion. And I think it's a good idea to be open to more such businesses because it can draw a crowd into Parkdale. And the city, the neighborhood, will definitely enjoy the revenues from such endeavors.
Okay, Andres, thank you. And Gord?
Yeah, thanks, Roger. Queen Street is the main street for both Roncesvalles and Parkdale, and people use it for all kinds of reasons. People live there in second and third story apartments. People go and shop there for their daily needs. People go there to go out and have fun in the evening. And it's also home to community resources like libraries and community drop-ins. 6 or 7 years ago, people in the community started working with me and local bar owners to try to make that work better. Eventually, though, folks in the neighborhood were saying, no, the other reasons I go to Queen Street are being pushed out. And in one of those many conversations I talked about in my opening statement, some of the folks in the neighborhood did some research around the world and said, this is a way they've solved it in places like San Francisco and Berlin. Why don't we try it here? So we have a 3-year cap saying that no more than a quarter of the uses on any stretch of Queen can be that sort of nightlife bar restaurant. We're going to take another look at it in 3 years. What I love about it, though, is like so many other ways that we've dealt with issues in Parkdale, it's our solution, came from the neighborhood, and actually I've had people from other wards and right across Ontario start asking, how does that tool work? Can we try it?
Okay, Gord, thank you very much. And Charmaine.
The incumbent said in his opening statement that he is all about getting things done. I do not believe that he has done anything in terms of getting things done when we look at the economic growth along Queen Street West and in Parkdale. The moratorium, the ban, the cap, it's wrong. There are businesses that were thriving. The incumbent also talks about pushing businesses out and consultation with the community. I live in the community. The incumbent does not. I did not receive, and by the way, I live blocks away from Queen Street West. I received no letter of communication, absolutely no consultation. So I would ask the incumbent, where did you go when you consulted? Who did you speak to? It was not an open process, it was not fair, it was not right. I won't be that way.
Okay, Charmaine, thank you very much. We're going to open up the floor now for rebuttals on things that were said. Gord, would you like to respond to that? Probably the best place to start.
Charmaine, I'm sorry that you didn't come to any of the meetings.
I didn't receive a notification,
just a moment,
Councillor
please.
Perks. I
Just a
need that
moment, please.
first, and then I'm so happy to.
I don't know why you didn't receive a notification. Hundreds of other people in the community did over more than a dozen meetings. We had meetings about specific venues. We had meetings about the general problem. We had residents associations consider the question more than once. We had special meetings with the local business improvement area. As I said before, we love to talk. Hundreds of people dedicated their time to figuring out what balance worked on Queen Street. I'm proud that folks in our neighborhood, and Charmaine, I live the same distance from there as you do, came up with this answer and once again showed that we're prepared to come up with a creative idea, try it out, see if it's going to work. That's what I love about doing community meetings in Parkdale.
Andreas, you look like you have something to say there.
Well, I mean, I'm always open to inviting commercial and neighborhood interests into the conversation because ultimately these are the parties that run the businesses. I don't think it's in the city's nature to set almost paternalistic grounds in forms of how people choose to earn their keep and how people choose to entertain themselves. I mean, I have a bit of a nightlife background myself. I'm a DJ. I've been a DJ for almost 2 decades now. And what I've seen is the arts community has suffered as a result of a lack of venues, even though the demand is there.
I'm just, Gord, and I live in the neighborhood too, and I didn't see anything either. And I wasn't invited to any meetings, and I would certainly have been there. I don't know if you've walked up and down Queen Street West in the last couple of weeks, but almost every business, there's so many businesses going out of business. It's crazy. It's so sad to see. It's not thriving at all. It's the exact opposite. And I think by letting people decide who's going to come in and put their money in there, that's the only way you're going to revitalize that. And there's no way that I think 3 years was too long. I understand that you were trying to do something, but maybe the length of time was too long and it's not working.
And there also has to be much more open consultation. Like I said, I live in Ward 14. There are a lot of things that are going on within our ward, and I have to say, Mr. Perks, I have not received notices, so I'm not exactly sure how communication is happening within your office because it's not reaching the residents. I'm not receiving it. And that ban, that control that was put along Queen Street West was short-sighted. It was very paternalistic. I have a father. I don't need somebody to tell me how the businesses should evolve along Queen Street West or Ronsonsville. We have to allow organic growth.